Yo, what's up, everybody? We're over here at Langrisser, and they just dropped a new banner. Some very awesome standalone hero stuff going on. So I was pretty happy about that. I was more happy about it because this hero was actually in my factions. But even if you do not collect like what Empire and some of the other factions that she's in, it's not going to matter. I am, of course, talking about the Ironblood Commander, which is Florentia's new form. Florentia is an awesome, crazy awesome support character already. For the Empire faction and a few others. She gets to do some really nifty things, and now we have another form of her. She plays different, right? She gets to put buffs on people based on the position in which you align your troops, well, your heroes, your units. If you put them all into a straight line, she gets to give them a crazy defense and healing buff. And if they are 2 blocks away from her diagonally, which is pretty easy to do, you just make a V shape. Everybody gets a crazy attack buff. They're going to do more damage. Their troops are going to have a higher attack. It gives you like a displacement shield so people can't push you around. So some very cool stuff right there, because she has amazing synergy with some of the heroes that I play. So I was really excited about her specifically for Toguro Bros, Bernie. Yeah, we'll see if we can actually run her. This is the other guy that is on the banner, Archon of the Moon. He seems to be... Let's actually take a look at him. There he is. He is a water troop. Twin Moons of the Star Ocean. All stats, excluding hit points, increased by 25% when in the water. So he's going to be a beast in the water. He's got a really cool looking design with those arms sticking out from him. Right? If the displacement effect is triggered for the enemy this turn, then this unit can take 1 additional action and gain this unit's regards... Wait, what? Oh, this unit regards its current terrain as water, of course. Mobility +2, last 2 turns. This effect can only trigger once every 2 turns. Pretty awesome there, right? And I'm sure he has things built in that are going to give a displacement effect. Right here, displacement effect, push the target next to the unit. Okay, so after he scores a displacement effect, he gets to act again. So that's pretty gnarly. He's going to be able to do damage to you with this, pull you towards him, and then he's going to be able to act again. Let's see, and potentially use something like Backbreaker, Aqua Blast, just to do some good damage to you. Sun Slash here, so he can heal himself. What's this? He's got a passive in here. Oh, blocks 1 instance of fatal damage and restores hit points 10%, 60% in water. Can only trigger once per battle. That's still really nice to have for just, one of the command orbs. That's awesome. So probably going to be the strongest water unit in the game here. Let's see which soldiers he has. Oh, of course he has the what are these guys called? The glacial... I can't see that. That's too little. These water spirits. These things are gnarly as hell. My Hiei runs these as a troop. Sorry, I got a cat over here, sitting here trying to I don't know what he's trying to do, but these things get such a damage boost in water. Physical damage dealt by normal attacks treated as magic. 12% chance to applying a strong debuff. When in water, attacks increase by 12%, and the units are not affected by melee damage penalties, and obviously that 12% goes up substantially. So yeah, very strong in the water, and even when you're not in the water, I'm sure this guy's going to have abilities to make him... Where was it? yeah, this unit, yeah, right. This unit regards its current terrain as water. So he can just make whatever he's standing on be water anyway. So that works really well with a troop like that. I wasn't sure if he actually had this troop or not. I know he has it, and I've been playing around with this guy, trying to level these troops up. So yeah, of course he's going to have it. He's probably going to be the strongest water damager in the game, and he looks pretty damn cool. Let's see, did they give him a skin? Okay, well, the skin looks pretty damn gnarly, I must say. He looks pretty killer in that. So we got that guy, of course, and here is our Ironblood Commander. Honestly, she just looks like she had a wicked summer at band camp. Like, I don't know what the whole marching band thing is. I guess that's the empire she's trying to serve. I don't know. I did delve into the story with her a little bit, pretty much after Ares disappears after some battle. Her government's in turmoil, and people are trying to overthrow her. He's not there, so she doesn't know what to do, and I don't know, I guess Florentia goes through this transformation to become the Ironblood Commander to save her people and the Ark. Yeah, that's pretty much how far I got. Pretty cool, though, pretty cool. Right off rip, I like the fact that, you know, Ironblood formation, and you see chess pieces there. And right off rip, it says damage dealt increased by 30%. I love the damage up. A straight up 30% is really, really nice to have. That's something that, like, Lana has. I think Lana gets 30% more damage to, like, her spells. And she's still one of the most wicked mages in the game. So just to have that right there, at 30%, you're going to be doing good damage. As a mage, she has an S stat for intelligence, so she's going to do decent mage damage, right? That's what you can expect from her. And also, before the end of action, this unit can also use one formation skill. This is something that Florentia does. Her turn is broken up into like 2 turns. Once you're done choosing what you do with your turn, another menu pops up, and you get to use some kind of ability, and that's what these are. So your units have to be arranged a certain way around her, and then she can apply one of these formations. If they're in a straight line, she can do a defensive formation. If they're in a V pattern, she can do power attack. If there are 2 allied units within 1 block diagonal line of the caster, so if you're making a V, the caster and these 2 allies gain power attack. Soldier attack plus 25%. That is a very nice boost for your soldiers. 25% to their attack. And allied units with base mobility of less than 5 gain bonus ability amount is equal to 5 minus the unit's base mobility last 3 turns. So she's going to make everybody move 5 blocks. The way that they write it out, it's like you gain your base ability minus 5, so whatever's left over gets tacked on to your basic attack. So you'd have your basic movement, not attack. So your 3 block movement would turn into 5 blocks, right? And then if you have boots, you're gonna get 6 block movement. So right off rip, built into her talent, you know, she's going to double everyone's movement. She's going to make slow units run like cavalry units. They're going to be moving 5 or 6 blocks. That's just absolutely wicked on its own. Movement is a huge factor in this game. So she can pretty much do that for you right off rip without having to really do anything. This is just, you know, she's going to give that to anybody that she puts that formation on. She can also, the defensive formation is when everyone's in a straight line, very easy to do. Everybody gets to recover 70% of their soldiers' hit points, and they, along with the caster, gain endure, soldier defense, and magic defense increased by 15%, and they are immune to displacement, which means you can't push them around, so that's very cool. Last 3 turns, power attack and endure cannot be dispelled from the caster and cannot stack, so you can't use them at the same time. You got to pick one or the other. And the formation skills have a cooldown duration of 2 turns. So you're going to be able to switch back and forth in between them when you need them. You can't stack both of them because that would just be absolutely OP, right? But what I think is really cool, she also has this. Used to gain command, allied units within 3 blocks range have a 20% reduced chance of receiving a critical hit and take 35% reduced fixed damage for 2 turns, and can move an additional 3 blocks and attack again after using this. So this takes up 1 of your orb costs, and you use this, everybody around you gets a lot of, well, they gain, what is it, 20% reduced chance of receiving critical hits and 33%, less fixed damage. That's going to make people more tanky right there, right? And then the big thing is, after you apply that buff to everybody, you then get to move again and do an attack, and then you will finish your turn. So this can help her travel too. This can help her travel and keep up with the team, and pull her attack line, defense line, whatever you want to do. But this is going to let her move 3 blocks, use this, and then move another 3 blocks and attack again before ending her turn. So that is very awesome. And she comes with this right out of the box. Commander's Ferocity Attack, a single enemy dealing 1.5 damage. Melee soldiers also attack, and this unit has power attack that it ignores 30% of the enemy's defense and magic defense in battle. That's pretty awesome because she also gets 30% just damage to her anyway from her talent. So if this unit has Endure, then after battle it restores hit points to all allies by the amount of 2 times the intelligence and reduces the cooldown of this skill by 1. It's got a 2-turn cooldown, so that's pretty cool right there. You'll be able to just spam the shit out of this. And this skill is not affected by melee damage penalty, so that's very nice there at the end. She's going to be able to do great damage with that. She starts with that out of the box. Personally, I would rather run that on her than mass attack. That's just me. And then she has her 3C here. Ironblood Glory. Attack a single enemy dealing 1.7. 1.7 is a lot better than 1.5. And after the battle, this unit permanently receives Breakdown. Soldiers' healing effects received are reduced by 80%. Cannot be dispelled. When equipped with melee soldiers, the soldiers will attack too. If this unit has power attack, then it attacks first in this battle. That's awesome. If she can have attack first, that's absolutely awesome. That is so strong. That is super strong. One of my favorite things in this game, Sakura, she gets to attack first. I've seen her take on Leons, and Leons are supposed to be like her natural predator because they have the class bonus going for them. Leon is a cavalry unit, Sakura is infantry. Infantry is weak to cavalry, right? So he's going to do double damage, and she's going to take more, and she's going to do less. But because Sakura gets to attack first, a lot of times she gets to kill off all of Leon's troops and do some major damage to him, especially if she scores crits, before Leon actually gets to attack her, so then he can't kill her off. Being able to actually attack first is absolutely amazing, because whoever you're attacking, they're only going to be able to retaliate with whatever they have left over after you attack them. So it becomes super awesome, and she has that built in here. I was very surprised by that. Right. And before battle, it dispels 5 buffs from the enemy, so you're going to completely strip whoever you're attacking of all their buffs, or at least most of them. And then if this unit has Endure, it can move 3 blocks. It can move 3 additional blocks after battle to run away, so that's awesome. After taking action, it causes all allied units within 1 ring to take 15% reduced damage and restore 30% of the unit's hit points after battle lasts 2 turns. And when I started looking at this, I'm going to tell you guys right now, this is like the Toguro brothers' revenge. This is such a big deal for them. She is in the same faction as Toguro Bros. I've been taking the Toguro Bros out and just running things with them because they are so much stronger now. When they first came out, there wasn't the best synergy for them. Okay, they really needed their 3C. That made them a little bit stronger. And then the werewolf troops came out. That made Toguro Brothers substantially stronger. After the werewolf troops came out, in my opinion, the Toguro Bros were worth running. And now with what this girl does, if she can sticky some of these buffs to the Toguro Bros, it really plays into their playstyle. It makes them so much more durable, absolutely ridiculous. And the Toguro Bros actually play into her style too. They get to move up 5 blocks, they get to transform, attack somebody 3 blocks away, probably kill them, and then after that, they get to move 5 blocks anywhere that they want, which means that they can move back and they can get into line. They can get into whatever position you need to set up for this girl to be able to give everybody the power buff or the defensive buff that you want to give. So she's going to be just absolutely awesome with Toguro Bros. And I happen to have Toguro Bros. I messed around with them a lot. I tried a couple different rune sets, a couple different builds on them, and I could always totally see how they got shafted a little bit. I mean, come on, we're talking about a hero that was going to come out and directly compete with Leon. So he wasn't on a lot of people's to-do list because you probably already have Leon built. The game is still being called Langrisser, and for good reason. You can still use Leon to, clear a bunch of stuff. He's such a safe bet to build. So I think there's not a lot of Toguro brother players just because of that. But I feel as the game went on and progressed and different troops became unlocked, I think Toguro brothers are totally the way to go now, especially if you have them. Some of the shenanigans they can pull are absolutely ridiculous. After they transform, they become unkillable for a turn. And then after that, they lose all their health. But with their 3C, they get to heal themselves by their attack before combat. So after they lose all their health, if you get them into combat again, they can heal themselves a little bit before combat. And they can probably kill whatever is attacking them at that point. So this girl is going to be able to put another heal on them. So if you play the Toguro brothers right, not only will they be healing themselves before combat to give themselves a chance to actually make it through, as soon as combat's over, they get a substantial heal, right? And then the next person to attack them, they get to be healed before combat again. And now you're dealing with Toguro bros that are at like 70% health, right? And before you know it, they get to transform again. And then they start stacking up real quick. Toguro bros, I think they can stack like 15, 20 times. They're one of the highest stacking units in the game. So as the fight progresses, they're continuously getting 1.5% to their attack and 1.5% to their skill. And between the two of those, you're going to be hitting a lot harder and you're going to be getting more crits. So they become a very, very awesome character to run now. Just especially with this, right? Because you can effectively move up with them, pick somebody off, and then you can move your 5 blocks back and you can get into position. And then this girl can put some kind of crazy ass buff on them, give them some damage reduction. There's just a ton that you can do here, and they're going to play so well together, so I just can't wait for that. I was very happy to pull this girl. Honestly, I haven't been having the best luck in Langrisser just as of late. Just like these past couple banners have just not been that awesome for me. I haven't been as lucky as of late. Don't get me wrong. I'm still clearing the odds, and I have no complaints here because a lot of these resources I can grind. Right. I even threw in on the last item banner. I actually managed to get some of the items. I got some of the accessories. I was trying to get the awesome looking Warhammer. Didn't end up getting it yet, but it's totally cool because I'll manage to get it from the dragon runs. Right, and then, I think it was like the last few pulls I did, she actually came down, and I was like, oh, please, let me get, because I knew just by looking at her, she was going to be in the faction groups that I run, and her being Florentia, I was like, man, Florentia has always been a standalone hero. Even in her other form, her healer form, it doesn't matter what faction group you bring her with. Don't get me wrong, if you actually match her up to a faction buffer, she's going to have higher stats, which I guess is going to be more important to the Ironblood Commander version of her, because she's actually going to be playing like a mage and attacking people, where the other Florentia, she's just going to support, she's going to heal, she's going to make you act again, so your best attacker can effectively attack twice and stuff like that and keep everybody healed. But with this girl, I would want to match her up with the faction group, because she's going to be attacking as a sorceress, so you're going to want all the stats you can get, and along the way she's going to just be supercharging everybody around her. The one thing I was kind of worried about, and I can already tell you guys I've tested this, because everything that she does is based on a formation, I instantly thought, well, the downside would be, as soon as I take you out of that formation, you ain't got shit, right? And we have lots of units that can move up and like punch you and push you over to the block next to them. Toguro Bros can push you around. So I was like, well, that's still pretty cool though, because if somebody does move up to hit you and push you away, at least you'll be getting your bonus while they hit you. So I tested it, and no, actually, that once you take one of these stances, it doesn't matter where the characters move after that. You are getting these buffs on you for like 2 or 3 turns at a time. And they are substantial buffs, 25% to the strength of your troops. Your unit's going to be hitting substantially harder. Speaking of troops, right, this girl, I don't know why, this girl can run unicorns, and IMO, in my opinion, that's the way to go with her. They're going to hit really, really hard. They're going to be doing damage that's considered magic damage. But I think most importantly, having unicorns equipped changes your unit type to terrain master. So it's going to be harder for this girl to get bogged down in terrain and stuff like that. She's going to be able to move more freely through it, and you want her to be able to move and keep up with your team so you can, take these different formations, right? She also comes with concentration. This is cool. After battle, 40% chance to restore hit points of all other friendly units. So it's just nice that they gave her that. A little bit more support healing. She can obviously buff people with mass attack. She also has defense support. This is nice. Everybody within 2 blocks, 15 decreased damage taken. So 15% damage reduction to everybody. Immune to defense and magic defense reduction effects, and healing negation buffs last 1 turn. That can be definitely useful depending on what fight you're going to. So I just like her kit overall. She's got a little bit of everything good in here. She's got the right troops to get around and be effective as she wants to be. And remember, she has extra movement built into an ability that's going to let her move again and act again after giving everybody around her a buff that's going to reduce their chance of being crit hit, and it's going to reduce how much fixed damage they take, and it's going to make them immune. Wait, or was that her other one? Reduce fixed damage, can move an additional 3 blocks. After using this skill, any buffs that you have do not lose their turn count. Okay, so her other one is the one that makes it so that you are immune to displacement effects. Regardless, this is a buff that she's putting on people while she's just running by them. So that's pretty impressive. Most units will be able to, like, okay, you get to act again. She gets to buff everybody on the way, and then act again, right? And then from there you can use Commander's Ferocity, right? Like after she acts again, she gets a wicked attack, 1.5 times damage. Melee soldiers will also attack. This unit has power attack, then it ignores 30% of the unit's defense and magic defense. So very, very potent combo that's very easy to execute here. Just a couple different things that I can see already that this girl can do, especially if you have somebody like the Toguro Bros setting up right next to her, or getting into position in order to get this defensive line or this offensive line, whichever one that you want to do. I mean, if you have other characters that are feeding into that, it's just a huge advantage, and it makes her much easier to use. So I can already tell you I'm going to favor running her with Toguro Bros and Bernie. Let's not forget, I'm going to want to bring a faction buffer. I can tell you right now, these defensive buffs and just this little bit of healing that she brings to a character like Bernie, that's going to be absolutely insane. Bernie has a 6 movement with her, because mine has boots on, so his movement is 4. His movement goes to 5 from her buff, plus 1 from the boots. So now Bernie moves 6 blocks. And now Bernie can get all of these crazy little bonuses to him. He's already hard enough to kill. If you give him minus 20% chance to being crit and 35% less fixed damage on top of being able to heal right after battle, I mean, Bernie's just going to be impossible to shift with this girl there, along with Toguro Bros, Sakura. You know, this 25% boost to troops is that much more powerful on a hero that gets to attack first, because now not only do my troops get to attack your troops first, and your troops probably won't even get to retaliate because they'll all be dead, but now my troops have 25% more to their attack. So, you know, my little barbarians are 1,500 attack now instead of, 1,200. That's a huge difference. That is a big difference. Same thing with Bernie and his troops. So just very powerful. Like I said, awesome standalone hero. It doesn't matter, which factions you're running. She's in Ules, Strat, and oh man, Strat. I can't wait to run her in the Strat faction. So for my account, she falls into 2 of my main faction groups. But you know what, even if you're running other faction groups and you're running this girl unbuffed, look, it's not going to matter. It's really not going to matter. You might get a little bit less healing out of her. You might get a little bit less attack out of her, but I don't think this girl wants to take anything head on anyway. She's going to work from the shadows. She's going to support, and then you can move up and finish somebody off with her. Even if she's not faction buff, she should still be able to do that more effectively than like a healer. I don't know. I guess it depends on how you have her built. But I'm very excited for this hero, right? And this is cool. This is cool. So they just dropped, I think our last banner has Gustav on it. And Gustav, of course, is the same thing. Gustav is a standalone hero. It doesn't matter what factions you run. You can run Gustav there because Gustav will melt cooldowns off of your characters. So regardless of any faction buff that you can put on Gustav's going to be useful because she's going to make your other heroes be able to use their ability kits more and throw some of their best abilities and not have to wait as long to get those abilities back. That's what I mean by a standalone hero, by the way. A hero that, isn't necessarily locked into any faction because they have some kind of utility or some kind of an ability. You can run this character with any faction, even if they're not getting a buff, and they're still going to be effective at doing their job. That's what I'm talking about, right? There's some heroes in this game, no matter how awesome they are, if you don't have their faction buffer and you don't have like their faction team somewhat built up, no, that character's not going to do that much for you. And while we're on that subject, here's another thing I was excited about. As soon as I pulled this girl, I was like, oh crap. Do I have to pull the other character to unlock this girl's bonds? I really thought they were going to tie these two characters together. We're like, yo, if you want to fully unlock the Iron-Blooded, whatever the hell her name is, Miss Ironblood, if you want to fully unlock her in the bonds, then you would have to pull the other character. This is something they've done in the past. That is not the case. I'm glad to tell you that her bonds actually go off of Florentia and Hilda. I believe Hilda is another faction buffer for Empire. We'll see. She is the cavalry faction buffer. Okay, here she is. And I think her other bond power is unlocked through Florentia. Yeah, through Florentia's help, which is her other version of herself. So I have Florentia already. I'm happy about that. And I think I have Hilda. Yeah, I have Hilda, at least to like 6,000 power level. So that should be no problem there. So you do not have to clear both of these heroes to unlock this girl. Now, I don't know if I can say the same thing for the other hero. You might have to have Florentia to unlock, or Iron-Blooded Florentia to unlock his last bond. You know, it is what it is. So I'm not sure about that. I did not manage to pull the other hero yet. Like I said, he does look cool. He be in that water. Oh, look at that. That's right. They gave us another ticket or two. So we could finish this off on a pull. Oh, yeah. There's been, I don't know, I ran a new map today in, geez, what are they called? They're just like the extra battles that we get to do every day to earn resources. Sometimes there's items. You have a chance of getting an SSR item. The point is, there was a new map in there today. It was like a challenge map. So they're adding stuff like that, which is very cool. Very cool. I'm always a huge fan of new maps that are added to the optional daily grind. And it was a fun little map. It was different than the other maps because it gave you two characters it wanted you to play with and set you up for somewhat of a difficult fight. It was nothing too bad. So that was something different because usually you can just pick whatever team you want there and you just have to clear it. So they're trying different things. We couldn't even get a gold there. Specifically what I'm talking about is in the events here. I've seen some new events in here, so that's been very cool. Want to make sure to give them props on that. But let's quickly just go into any level that we can here. Let's see if... Where is our Iron-Blooded General? Let's see. I can look up Empire. There's Togro Bros. Bernie's already out, right? Where is this chick? There's Florentia's other form as Florentia. Here's her new form, right? I don't want her to put her over here with like Togro and Bernie. We'll see if we can, oh, that's right, this chick. Oh, you know what? I'm confusing her with somebody else. Actually, let's see if I have Hilda, right? I think this is Hilda. Yeah, that's right. She's on a motorcycle. She is badass. Oh, and of course, my favorite AoE Leon clone, whatever this chick's name is right here. Helena. She's absolutely ridiculous with her AoE, especially if you have the right stuff for her. Alright, so, I'm going to want to map out where this girl's going to be able to move. So if she can stand, 1, 2. So if Bernie can stand here, Togro can stand up there. So I'll move Bernie here in anticipation for taking whatever formation we want. See, if I attack, I can get right back to there. So we'll just post up here. So I can't reach to make my formation. I need to be one block down. So I will use this ability. Oh shit. I think I used the wrong ability. Yo. Okay, there we go, sorry. Now I end my turn, and now I get to go into whatever ability that I want. So, yeah, that was... Oh, crap. Okay, I messed that one up. I guess she has to be... Oh, that's right. She has to be in the center. So, I messed up. I have her and Bernie switched. Damn. I should have left Bernie there. I should have used her movement to get her into Bernie's spot. And unfortunately... Okay, because they do have to both be diagonal of her. So, that is good to know. I'll take these guys out real quick. Yeah, I at least want to get her... You know, maybe I should pull my heroes back so everything doesn't get wiped out by them, so I can actually use her formation. That was my bad. That was my bad. So here is Hilda, the other faction buffer. Great tank, by the way. Taking 32 damage. Alright, let's try this again. Alright. So, how far can you move? Alright, so Toguro will end his movement where Bernie is. Right there. She'll be right there. Oh, so Bernie's gonna go here, go into guard mode, right? Toguro just needs to end up back where he was. Or, alright, how am I gonna do this? 1, 2, 3, 4. Toguro can end up there. Oh, this is going to screw me. Yeah, because I'm blocked off over here. Oh man. Okay. Okay. That's not gonna happen. You know what? We're just gonna have to go with the defensive line. I can do that. I kind of wanted to test that out with him anyway. So, if I go into my transformation mode, rah! He ain't playing when he transforms. I can go kill somebody. Right. Very easy. And this is the whole point, is he can move back, right? So here's what I'll do. I'll put him here. He's done. And now this girl can actually... There we go. We are setting up our defensive line, because all it takes is a straight line either way. So everybody got some healing. They got all those defensive buffs, and we will be able to see that on them now. Right here it is. Endure, increase soldiers' defense and magic defense by 15%. That's a big deal for Bernie, and cannot be displaced. That is awesome for a tank. Right? If you can't be displaced, it means you can't be pushed away. If you can't be pushed away, you're always within guarding range. So that's really cool. Right? As long as nobody breaks his movement, he's going to be able to guard. These guys can just chill here. I think her AoE is going to kill this bird anyway. Uh-oh, rah-rah. Looks like Hilda gets to make a play. And now Bernie's pretty much should be able to destroy everything here. Oh no, not my magic defense. And Toguro Bro's catching a heal right before combat. That is very awesome. And this is what I was talking about, like this turn specifically. When I end Toguro Brothers' turns, they take damage. But if we can actually zoom in on him, she can give him more healing. She can give him an effect. I don't think I can reach him all the way over there, but she can give him an effect, especially with her 3C, where now after any battle, Toguro is going to heal. He has his 3C, it went off, so he gets to be healed before battle, right? So even if you attack Toguro with 700 hit points, when you actually get into battle with him, he'll have about 3,000 hit points. Also, his werewolves are going to be healing the whole time. So you'll have Toguro at 3,000 hit points, and you'll have his werewolves, if you give it a turn, you'll have them at like 4,000 or 5,000. It's not the best in the world, but it becomes a world of a ways better after you apply this girl's healing onto him. Like I said, it's the difference between Toguro bros going into battle with 10% of their hit points or with 60-70% of their hit points. So it makes Toguro way more survivable. You're going to get a lot more use out of him. I think that's just absolutely awesome. I was running Toguro with Yusuke Urameshi because obviously he's easy to sacrifice if you want him to be the sacrificial lamb, right? Obviously, after he loses his hit points, you can just drive him into the enemy and he'll die. And then Yusuke will catch a heal and get an awesome buff and just become a monster to deal with. It's another reason why I like Toguro Bros. This makes him, I think, more applicable. Like, I don't feel like I have to run Yusuke with him to bank off of him dying for Yusuke to catch a buff. I can now run Toguro Bros just as Toguro Bros without the whole Yusuke synergy, because now Toguro Bros don't have to die. They don't have to be sacrificed after they lose all their health. If you give them a turn, they can bounce back, especially if you know how to play them right. So I just think that is very cool, and I'm overall very happy with this girl. I think she's awesome. I might have not done the best job of showing off her offensive line. That was my bad. I screwed that up. It gives you a good idea of the limitations too, though. Depending on what map you're at, you have to be able to get into these formations. And if there's a pillar in the way or a stone block or something that prevents you from going there, well, you're like, oh, damn. Whoops, The good news is it's very, very easy to set up the defensive line. Like, you're going to be hard-pressed to find a map where, your heroes can't line up in a straight line. Like, you're going to be able to do that all over the place. The offensive one, yeah, a little bit harder to pull off, right? Because you have to make that V shape, and she does have to be in the middle of it. But it is what it is, and it's totally worth pulling off if you can, right? It's not the hardest thing to set up, but you guys did just see a map where I had a hard time with it. Either way, very awesome character, very good standalone character no matter what factions you're running. And best of luck to everybody trying to get this girl. Honestly, I think I'm going to start saving for whatever collab we got coming next. So that's what I'm going to be doing. But everybody trying to get this girl, best of luck. And if you're trying to get Waterboy too, even more luck to you. And hey, he looks like a super fun character too. The water units in this game have always had a fun mechanic to them. They can grab people and pull them away or pull them towards them. And it looks like he has something to even bank off of that even more. Now after he displaces you, he gets to act again and attack again, and that's built right into his talent. Anytime you have act again built into your talent, that is very, very powerful. So that guy's going to be the strongest water character we have, and Iron-Blooded Florentia is probably going to be one of the strongest support units that we have right now. And oh yeah, she's not Florentia anymore. She doubles as a mage. So this isn't a healer character doing this. She is a mage. So let's not forget that, I didn't really get to showcase it, but after she puts you into whatever formation, whatever buff, whatever formation you want to go into, she's still a very powerful caster. So she's not going to be hitting you like a healer would. She's going to be hitting you kind of like a Lana would. So that is a pretty huge advantage. She's just going to be supportive and deadly. That 3C really does look like it could take another character out. It'd be great against a boss. I don't know. So we'll have to see where this goes, but pretty awesome boost for Empire. I've said for a while that Empire has needed more support. I haven't been saying that as much since Florentia came out. She was like the answer to all that for me. Like, Now you have a character that's super awesome healing and support, and can do the same act again thing that Lana can, and she's actually Empire, so she's going to bank off of the Empire buff, which is going to increase her healing a little bit. Well, now we have like the more aggressive version of her. Instead of acting like a healer support, she's going to be a support DPS. That's the way that I'm seeing it. So very cool, very cool. Very nice shift play on Florentia herself, and a step in the right direction for the Empire faction and Strat Masters too. Oh, that's going to be very useful for Strat Masters. And important, she's going to be able to keep up with Altamüller, right? You might have to use that ability that lets her move twice, but she will be able to keep up with an Altamüller, so that's very cool. Can't wait to try all that stuff out. Best of luck to anybody. If I missed anything worth noting, please leave me a comment, let me know, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Later.